Hi, I'm Shelly Palmer, and I'm from Wichita, Kansas, and I have owned a preschool for the last 7 years. And I am here to talk to you today about how society has conditioned us to take a righteous position as adults or parents. So in our society, we feel like a child should do what we say they should do because we tell them to do it. And what I have found, and before I learn the skills that I'm going to teach you today, is that if a child gets that look in their eye and they've drawn a line on the floor, you are not going to win. And you're especially not going to win if you have 9 other children in the room. So it's really important to learn these skills. We can get lazy and not want to because we have, maybe 1 or 2 children at home that we're dealing with. But that's not the best for the child. And so taking the time to really learn these skills can help your child be more successful to win and have more confidence and have less likely to grow up thinking how all their choices were always taken away and that most of their growing up was just fighting with the adults in their life. So a story that I have for you of when I kind of learned this is that one day I was out on the playground and I got all the kids to come inside but this one child. And every time I got a teacher to come out and take the rest of the kids in, and I stayed out to get to this child, and I would try to go to him, and whenever I'd go to where he was, he would run to the other side of the playground. And we did this for about 20 minutes, and I was so furious and so upset. And as time went on, I just kept getting angrier and angrier. And finally, I just called my director at my school, and it took her 2 minutes to get the child to come inside. This is one of the biggest, most impressive days of my life because, one, I went home and noticed how angry and upset I was this child. But also I was like, what could I have done better? And one of the things that I've learned that I always tell my teachers is when you've seen a child has drawn a line, or you're even at home and a child has drawn a line and you have crossed it where they're like not going to do what you want and you are going to do what I want. I need you to take a breath and regulate yourself. And that's usually a time when you'll call a neighbor, you'll call somebody who's close, you'll call another adult in who can change the situation, change the environment. But if you learn some of the skills I'm going to teach you today, you can stop it from ever getting to that point of drawing the line. And not only is it empowering the child, it is very empowering to you as the adult because you're like, I'm smarter than you. And you'll see the child, a different look in their face will come across. And it all comes from giving choices. But let's go back to that child that I went home and I was so angry about. This is one of the biggest lessons that I teach my teachers, and hopefully I'm teaching parents and teachers now, is that the biggest thing to remember when you have found yourself being angry is to learn forgiveness. Because in our society, not only are we taught that the child will do what we tell them to do, or there's some type of punishment, but sometimes we will punish somebody all day long. We won't ever forget that little mistake that they made that morning. Now, there is a difference between having natural consequences and punishing someone for an action that they took. So it's really important to me that my teachers, when an incident is over, it's over.
I'll put it in my pocket for you. Where do you want to go place it?
No. I have home living. I have...
Eva, please get off of Caden. This is probably going to be a really big problem.
Touch me.
No, you were just sitting on top of him, Miss Eva. He was not touching you. Please have a seat.
I will see.
Sit down.
We'll have a go.
Yes. Because she will intentionally hurt herself and say, "Kid, did it," like she was just sitting on him, trying to keep him from the toys. So stay with me, please.
We don't bring it back on the child and say, remember when you didn't pick up your toys, or remember when you were being loud at lunch. Because it always comes down to us recreating the environment where they're set up to win. That means if they weren't picking up their toys, then we didn't make it fun to pick up their toys.